day in Impact Wrestling, a show that honestly was good, but made the worst mistake you could make. Now I'll explain it. Opening of the show was a fatal four-way tag match, if that was what it was, where anybody could tag in anybody. Not much different than WWE. We had the Rascals with Dez and Wiz. We had Reno Scum. We had the Deaners, and we had the Dempsey Hit Squad. Shira was not there. Shira was not there. Maybe he's still on his pilgrimage. It was an okay match. It was the Rascals who won, and they're still showing Trey's mom. If that really is her mom. I guess the reason I botch is not because they're showing her. They showed Trey coming out after Dez and Wiz were attacked by Reno Scum. It was the... Look, you guys know how I feel about the Treehouse. I don't think it's worth it anymore. I think they should stop doing the Treehouse segments. They don't help Dez, Wiz, and Trey anymore. If they ever help them at all, they should be doing something entirely different. It should be something different. But now you have Dez and Wiz getting a hard-on. Well, Dez getting a hard-on for Trey's mom. Why are they doing these segments where now she's the surrogate mom for all three of them? And now, I'll give it in this respect. If this is leading to her to be the manager of them, then it makes sense. I will say that. If Trey's mom on TV is going to be the manager for all three of them, that will be a different direction. And I could be alright with that. Maybe they'll finally move away from the Treehouse and them doing weed because it's gotten boring. I'm bored with it. But, and I'm saying but, if it doesn't lead anywhere, if this doesn't help Trey, Wiz, and Dez, this was a complete freaking waste of time, and it just makes me hate them more. And I don't want to hate these guys. They're all three great wrestlers, but this gimmick of the Rascals is a piece of garbage. The Treehouse segments are a piece of garbage. And if they bring this woman in to do something with maybe Ace Austin, or better yet, make her the new manager of the Rascals. If she doesn't do none of it and just has a small segment with Ace Austin, it's stupid. Moving on. You got a 2-on-1 handicap match with Jordan Grace versus Taya and the Jana Bravo. The man who takes care of the little puppy, the little cute little puppy is nothing. This match, look, as I said it before, I want to see Taya Valkyrie drop the strap. Now, I can understand what they might be doing here. They've never had a woman hold the title more than maybe 200 days. And she's already held it for nearly 300 now. She's almost held an entire year by this point. She's reaching there one whole year, which will be a first in the history of Impact Wrestling since it was founded in 2002. So that would make some sense. They want to give her that moniker. But to be honest, it's hurting the product. This is hurting the product a little bit because they're not putting her into anything interesting or serious. If she was dominating over every woman, Havoc, Su Yung, Rosemary, Jordan Grace, if Tessa was in the women's division, Tessa Blanchard, you got her going over the frenemies, destroying Terrence Terrell or Nicole or anyone, Ty Nicole? All the women, if she's gone through every last one of them, not as a face, just as a heel saying, I'm going to show you how damn good I am. I'm going to kick everybody's asses. And she wipes out absolutely everyone at a time, saying, I want an open challenge. I want to take every last woman. I'm going to be the longest reigning knockout, and I'm going to show that I'm so dominant that every woman, I'm going to beat them twice. That would make this run mean something. But this, as funny as it was, and it wasn't 100% bad seeing Jordan Grace work with a guy. And this is becoming a bit of a problem because if they keep having so much men and women matches, they will not be special anymore. They will be so commonplace. It will become a joke. And I'm not being sexist here, guys. I'm not saying women can't face men. It's not the point. The point is, if you're going to have one or two women do it, it's understandable. But if you expand outward and it makes it look so cringe when doing it, that is going to be an issue. If a big guy is so bad at getting his ass kicked by a little woman, it looks stupid. It looks stupid. I'm sorry. It will look stupid. Women and men matches, there's nothing wrong with having them, but they got to mean something. They got to be special. When they're commonplace, you got to make sure it works. You got to make sure the women are the same size as the men so it will look right. If you got really large guys going up against tiny women, they're getting their asses whooped, which will be explained in the end of this video, it looks bad. Now, Taya did not want to deal with the match after a certain point because Jordynne Grace was beginning to kick everybody's ass. In the end, Jordynne Grace won. But it really didn't mean a lot. And I have to admit, Johnny Bravo got his ass whooped. Seriously. When she did that back dive on, when she basically cannonballed him, not back dive, she cannonballed his ass, it had to hurt a little bit. I don't care who you are. Once someone begins their acceleration, even for a few feet, they can gain a little weight. That's the way physics works. So she had to hurt him just maybe slightly. Alright, the Debsy Hit Squad had a moment. Gaba pretty much said to Raj and Raju, I am sick of this. You better not lose again or I'm shipping you both off. I am done. And then they had a little moment in the back with Falaba. He's eating and then messing with him. Say, you think this is going to make you skinny? You're nothing but a damn fat boy. And then they whoop his ass. So one or two things are going to happen. Either we're going to have a 2-on-1 handicap match with Falaba with both the Hit Squad. Or you're going to have TJP come back. TJ Perkins will work with Falaba because we haven't seen him for a while. And he will be working with Falaba against the Debsy Hit Squad, which I've actually asked for. I've said it already. Why not have Falaba and TJP work as a tag team? It would make sense. It's not because they're just Filipinos. They just seem like they would work that good together. And maybe they'll do this. But who knows? RVD had a short video saying he couldn't come because he didn't have enough sleep. And his woman, Katie Forbes, in the background supposedly was wearing absolutely nothing and he wasn't going to let us see it. Now, if you see my intro, you see her with a very, very small top, showing almost everything but the areolas. As you can say, you don't want to say something totally nasty to be offending everybody, but you know what I mean. Her boob and the little thing in the middle looked like it was almost being seen, but you get my point. He didn't show up, so he said he'll eventually show up, but these guys, you don't really need me at the moment because everything I normally do, everyone is doing it for me, so there's no problem. I don't know where they're going with this. I am glad they are making him a heel and they are doing something different, and maybe Katie will be his manager. Since that is his supposedly real-life girlfriend, maybe they will be working together and it'll be alright. I wouldn't mind seeing it. But they better lead someone with this. And it doesn't have to just lead with Rhino. I want to see something different with RVD having an attitude as a heel. Now, Susie with Father James Mitchell. They're in my face. We still don't know how far they're going to go with Su Yung. But it is obvious Su Yung has been set back to zero. She's a face. She's innocent. She's pure. And Father Mitchell wants to corrupt her to his side. And I'm not talking about the same side as Rosemary's daddy, who is the Lord of Darkness. But she wants him, well, he wants her on her side directly. What am I saying? Hers. You know what the thing that's getting me? Because shouldn't this lead to the undead realm? Why don't we see the undead realm to make this mean something? Why didn't they show a little bit of a red area of the undead realm having duplicates of everybody, and the so-called boss says, get Su Yung back. That's mine. And then Father Mitchell has his moments trying to convince her, but he realizes I could take this piece of ass for myself. And that would make some sense. Instead of having Rosemary appear with a lighter saying, you trying to claim her for yourself, saying you want her in a car, and she agrees because he did say, why don't you come with me? This is not a good environment. They're going to use you. Come with me to my car. And she says, okay, walks away, and Rosemary appears with a lighter saying, that belongs to my daddy. That's my daddy's property. But you know what? I don't want him to have her either. I'm going to get her true potential, and I'm going to use her against you. Don't you mean use her against your daddy? Unless I'm wrong. Because she already said, I know you want her for yourself, and that's my dad's property, but I'm going to make her show her full potential, and I'm going to take her against you. Why not him and your daddy? Wouldn't that make more sense? Now, I'm not against this going somewhere, but you must fill in the blanks, guys. Come on. You got to show the undead realm. You got to show the boss. You can do a back head shot of his bald head and say, get me back my Su Yung. Get me back my Su Yung. She's hanging around Impact in her pure form. Convince her to come back to me. That would have made this mean something, and it just felt like it was lacking. But it doesn't mean it may not lead somewhere. Now, Swinger versus a jobber. I'm not going to say who the guy is because it doesn't really matter. What was a waste of time? What was a waste of time? Was Shamrock coming and wiping the floor with him so quickly? Because I would have liked to see them build up into this, where Shamrock starts walking around finding out who took a freaking dump in my bag. Like that. He knows instantly that it was him. How? They don't show anything about it unless I missed it. Unless I missed something. I didn't see him during the match of the Fatal 4-Way or anything like that. I missed something. So, wouldn't it then make some sense that someone would have told him someone took a dump in the bag? How would he know? They didn't show him looking at TV. They didn't show him talking to somebody. He just came out angry, whooped the ass of John the Swinger, and then put him in the ankle lock, screaming angry. Just like what happened with Joey Ryan. And they did have their moment. In the back, Swinger and Ryan says, I want to get my hands on him. You dealt him. What you got to do? He said, well, you shouldn't have dumped in the bag. They should go somewhere with that. Why? You could have done something with Shamrock, particularly a guy so damn stiff. I'm not against Shamrock. The guy is built like a beast. But he's a stiff guy now. His body isn't as flexible as it used to be. You can tell the way he walks. I wish I had his abs. I wish my leg was working like him. Even in a stiff state, it would be nice to maybe be able to squat. I can't squat. My leg is literally locked in this position. I can never bend it ever again until I get surgery. So I'm not against him. I admire the guy at 53, 54. The guy looks great. But what is the point of him looking great if he's doing nothing at Impact? Make him have a feud with Joey Ryan, then make him have a feud with Johnny Swinger. Make this mean something with him there. If he's the first champion of Impact Wrestling using the not AEW. You see I'm angry. The NWA World Championship, the first time they had a championship title is with him. Shouldn't it mean something? That this guy should be doing that. I'm just saying. Finally, the last match of the night. It is the number one contender elimination match. It basically was a gauntlet. The Swan Song. Bad version. I'm saying it right now. I know a lot of people are going to like or love this match. And it was a damn good gauntlet match. It was. But I'm going to be honest here. The ending was trash. Due to the fact of one factor. Now, let me go through this. First match was Moose versus Draga. Okay. I didn't really expect a lot from Draga and Moose. I'm not saying they don't have chemistry, but I didn't expect a lot. This was the first match. It wasn't going to mean a lot. The second match meant the most of the entire show. That was Moose versus Rick Swan. Rich made that match mean something. Moose made that match mean something. And I gotta ask you guys Because if I really don't remember. I've seen Moose go up against Rich with a partner. I've seen Rich go up against a partner that was a Moose. But I've never actually seen these two actually go one-on-one together in Impact. Maybe it might have happened on one of those specials on Impact Plus, but I never seen it on the main show. So this was a first for me. And I was thinking, I wonder if these guys got chemistry. Hell yeah, they do. They got great chemistry together. It looked great. And I thought, well, Moose is going to win this. No! Rich Swan won it. And that was a surprise for me. Then Michael Elgin came out, which I was really kind of surprised. I would have thought maybe it would have been Tessa. That's what I thought, at least at that time. Elgin with him was the second best because Elgin pushed him so hard he started bleeding from the nose and mouth, which really added to it. Does easily remind you what happened with Kofi Kingston getting that moment and having a chance to go for a title. If you guys remember in the beginning of last year, well, not last year, this year, when Kofi had that rise, this made you feel that. It was very similar, but the stories are completely different. Unlike Rich, Kofi had really been screwed seriously bad in WWE. Everyone knew what happened with him and Randy Orton, and it legitimately was just bad how he was treated. Here, Rich, yeah, he has been treated pretty bad by the WWE, but he didn't stay long. He left. He's been to other companies. He has won titles. We know he won titles. So it's not like it's Kofi after 11 years not being given interest at all. So this was a different story, but the match story was somewhat similar. But I gotta say this, comparing Kofi's match in the gauntlet where he met AJ at the end, compared to this was better. Because in this case, by the time they neared the end with Elgin and him, he started bleeding from the nose and mouth, as you seen in my face. And you see it again. Then you had, and it was, I really thought it was going to be Tessa. Because that would have made the best sense. I really thought Tessa was going to be next. But it was Cage who was next. And I knew he wasn't going to win. I was hoping he was going to win. I was begging that he won. And they were putting on a great match. It was the third best match. But in the end, Rich lost, which I felt was the worst mistake they could have made. They had a chance to go in a completely different direction the beginning of next year. Honestly, I'm being honest here. And wait, you know what? Let me stop here. Let's go with Tessa and Brian Cage. Was that a good match? For Tessa, that was one of the best matches I've seen her do yet. With an extremely big wrestler, very muscular wrestler, who is very agile for his size, which really made the match a lot better than what she's dealt with so far. Comparing when she works with Sammy, let's put this in perspective. When you talk about Sammy working with Tessa or anybody else, there's Sammy and Tessa, and there's Tessa with everybody else. Sammy and Tessa has the best freaking chemistry overall. But this match was second in line to that. So now you know she can work with Sammy and Tessa. You know what I mean. And then you have Tessa and Cage. You now know these two can work together. They're pretty good. And Cage didn't hold anything back. He acted just like she was a regular male wrestler. He even put his hand on her titties. No offense to any woman there who hears this. But you got to understand, when you interact men and women in an original match, many people would get offended due to the fact there's going to be women that are going to say, oh, this guy is being sexy. She's grabbing near her nipples, or, I'm sorry for the language, and her breast, or her ladies area, her crotch. What do you want? People say they want equality in wrestling. If you want equality, that means both sexes, no matter which one is larger in size, is going to touch the nether regions of the other sex. Women are going to grab the man's crotch, and they either going to mess with it, pull with it, whatever, either on purpose or accident to help the match. Men are going to do the same thing. I'm not saying men are abusing women in the ring. It doesn't normally happen because men do show respect to women, but they're going to grab them in their bodies. When it came to Brian Cage, he put his hand in between her breasts to hold her down while the count was going on. And I don't have a picture, I don't believe, but it's not the point. The point is, he treated her no different than any wrestler. And then he had an attitude on top of that, which honestly I think did not work in his favor. It didn't work the match, honestly. I think that part of the match, it was not necessary. He's supposed to be a face. And even though the people were cheering for Tessa, and it did reach a point where they're going to turn him into a heel, and he decided to heel it up a little bit. But honestly, it wasn't necessary. Particularly when the match was over, Tessa won, and he raised her hand happily, gave her a hug, and then he left the ring to give her her respect that she's earned. So I'm not against Tessa dealing with Brian Cage. My issue is this. This has gone on since maybe March or April of 2019. March, let's say April. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 8, I'm doing 10. But you get my point. You get 8 months. 8 months we have been watching this story of Tessa dealing with Sammy and OVE, and they've already finished it not once, not twice. We've had matches where she has beaten OVE with help, which she said, I don't care how I beat them, I want to beat them flat out. And she won Tommy twice, and she won again with, I forgot who else did she win the match with. Draga. I think she had won a match with Draga against OVE. I can't remember right now offhand. It could be with Tommy again or with the ECW originals. I don't remember. But the point of the matter is this. She's won 2 or 3 times over OVE. It should have ended, and what she should have done was go for the X Division title. And I know I have people who are in my chat, well, not my chat, but my comments, I'm going to say, no, we don't want to hear. Dude, think about this. I don't care who you are. Think for a minute. Right now, she just won #1 contender for the Impact Wrestling World title shot. This is what you guys really didn't want. And anyone says, well, I'd rather see her do this than the X Division. Tell me right now, what is the X Division doing? What did I just say earlier? You got Austin, Ace Austin now dealing with Trey and possibly his mother in a storyline that's going to probably suck. Unless she's going to be the new Rascals manager. It's going to be garbage. And I'm not crapping on the X Division title. I love the X Division title as much as I love the world title. But you must understand, if you're going to go there, do it right. Tessa should have went for the X Division and then dropped it and went back to the women's title picture flat out. She should have gone back to the knockouts already. No. She's still going, and it's going into next year, and she probably either is going to have to wait until the next pay-per-view or the next couple of months. Well, not couple of months, the next couple of weeks, because they're almost finished. We're in December. They're not going to be making that many shows up until, what, December 10th? And that will probably be the last show until the end of the year, where they'll probably, if they do like they normally do highlights in December going into January, and then January is when they pick it up. So we only have a couple of weeks left before the end of the year, when maybe the beginning of December will be the last time we're going to see a regular Impact show, and then we're just going to see reruns. Reruns, that's what it might come out to. So if that's happening, January is when we're going to probably have that title picture. And honestly, it is stupid. I'd rather have seen Rich Swan versus Sami Callihan, brother versus brother, because that would have been the culmination of trying to make something of their feud they had last year. Because remember, they had a feud last year where Sami asked Rich to join him. And if anybody says he can't join OVE, he's from Georgia. And Sami already said on the show, in the ring, in a segment with Rick Swan, offering him an OVE shirt, join me. We are family, me and you. Not OVE family, me and you are family. You cannot tell me you can't join OVE if you're not part of Ohio. Rick is from Georgia. So don't say that. So when you see this show, you'll think it's not too bad. But if you're like me, this should have not ended the way it was. Swan Song, the bad version. This should have been about Rich Swan dealing with OVE. But it wasn't. This was about Tessa Blanchard dealing with two guys who bled from their mouth. And remember, Rich bled from the mouth, as you can see. And then, guess what? Brian Cage bled from the mouth as well. Okay show, but in the end, I don't like the ending. You guys watch for my AEW review, and I will be doing my NWA review on Thursday. Have a good day. Have a good night. Oh, tell me how you feel about the intro. I hope you do like it. I was trying my best to make it work. That's why it took so long. Peace!